Hello, hi everybody. I hope you're all well all there in Facebook land or in YouTube land. I'm Bella, and if you're watching me for the first time, welcome. I'm normally called Bella the Secret Psychic, and you're watching one of my live tutorials, which I do every week. And today's tutorial is on the common signs and symbols that are associated with spirituality. And basically what I'm going to be covering here in this feed today is looking at the traditional visual images that are associated with spirituality and how they are a psychological impression basically, and how they impact us normally with love, history. Like with all things, everything has got its own sort of vibration, let's say, is what I call. And every vibration has a frequency, and how that impacts us in terms of energy, even if you've watched any of my other videos, impact us in different ways. So the symbols that I'm going to be looking at are quite traditional ones, but also how they affect us with love or protection. And just in case you wanted that extra sort of symbol to represent your life in whatever way you want or see fit. Also as well, we're going to be looking at the common signs and symbols if you are becoming awakened, I should say, or spirit are trying to contact you, or your higher self is trying to contact you. So we're going to look at some of the common signs, but they are common. It doesn't mean that other experiences aren't also related to you contacting either your higher self, your spirit guides, or actually people that have passed over as well. So, and then at the end, I'm going to do the card reveal. So for those of you who already voted on Friday, and I'm just going to hold them up. I've got 3 cards, 3 romance cards, which is for your love life. All you have to do is choose one, number 1, number 2, number 3. Which card would you like? Do comment. And at the end, I'm going to reveal what the card means and what it means for you to be thinking about when it comes to your love life. So do think about that as well. So if you are there, let me just switch over to see who's on Facebook, because I's not ready. There I am. Oh, I disappeared. There I am. So hi, hello, and turn the sound down as well, which I thought I did earlier, and I'm with you. So I can see some people. Hi Amy, hi Michelle, hi Dawn, and hi another, oh no, it's the same Michelle. Nice to see you there. Do say where you're all from as well, because I do love to hear and know all about where you're from. If you do like what you see today, do you subscribe, do you share? And we've got a few people also on YouTube. So we have Sol and Shabala and Carla and Leslie and Millie. Hi Millie, hope you're well as well, my dear. So as we go along, choose a card, which I see some of you are doing as well. Hi Sarah, hi Connie as well. And we got, that's Connie from Iowa. Yeah, do tell me where you're from, because you know I'm a bit like a maniac. Wanting to know where everybody's from, just because it fills my heart knowing that so many people over the world are watching as well. So we've got, oh, Carla from Pittsburgh as well. And we've got to Leslie as well. And Arla, all in YouTube. I can't keep up. So do keep going. Remember, you have 3 cards to choose from. So you have number 1, number 2, and number 3, which I will look at the end as well for you all. So today's topic is on signs and symbols, and I have been beavering away. We've got some more people. I've got to shout them out. Tony from Denmark, and we've got Dawn from Carolina as well, and people choosing the numbers, and Samantha from North Wales in the UK as well. Amy from New York. Welcome everybody. So just to crack on as we go along, and as we go along, if you have any questions, something doesn't make sense, hopefully I'll explain it to you a bit more, or as we go along, you might recognize as well, particularly when we move to the section where we're talking about your higher self or your spirit guides or people who have passed over. You might recognize some of them, and it might make sense when you see that some of this has happened. Or because you're now watching this, you'll probably find, particularly if you ask yourself because you want to have a sign from either a loved one or your higher self or your spirit guides, that all you need to do is ask, and you'll probably get one of these signs probably within the week. So just watch out, because these things happen all the time, and I'll share some stories with you too. So right, so we're going to first just start off by looking at what I call the visual common signs throughout history, common symbols. And the reason why we're looking at this is, again, if you're looking for anything to give you protection, to give you love, or just have an understanding really of what these symbols mean, and they sort of connect to different religions over the world, but for me they all sort of, you know, combine to source energy at the end of the day anyway. But these are beautiful images that sometimes people like to have in, you know, as wall art, or they like to have as jewelry, as a way of being able to set a frequency within them. Because again, if those of you who've seen me before know that if our frequency is one that is high, i.e. positive, that is happy, that we have faith and belief in certain things, and we have the power then to set our intentions and to draw positivity and manifest greatness in our lives. So these symbols are relevant in that sense because they will put you in that higher frequency, but also it's just good to know what these all mean as well. So hi Letitia as well, and hi Suzanne. So right, so bear with me, technology. So the first one we're going to be looking at is this one. So the first one is called Hamza. And Hamza is an Arabic, sorry, can't speak, Arabic word, and it means 5. And as you can see, it means, you can see there's a hand there, which is 5 digits, 5 fingers. And it's a beautiful image. Lots of people will have this symbol in particular. Sometimes they often wear it as a necklace in particular, or you see it in other jewelries. It's very detailed. What you should do, particularly as we go through these slides, is think about when you see these images, what feeling does it evoke for you? Because it's very important, because again, all these images, just like everything in life, has a frequency. So do think about this. We've also got here as well, you see the eye that's placed just in the center of it. That is it's like, some people call it the evil eye, but basically it's the evil eye, or looks out for negativity. I don't like to use the word evil because I don't necessarily believe it in the same way that everybody else does, but it wards off negativity. It will see negativity coming towards you. So basically the Hamas is a symbol of protection. So for those of you who watch my psychic protection, this would be the perfect symbol to either visualize if you want to have protection for yourself, or to wear as protection, because the eye will see off people or energies or anything that is trying to send negativity your way. And basically, as that hand is standing out like that, it's pushing it back. So it's very similar to the mirror technique. So if you don't have a pendant or anything like this, just visualize this image. You almost, if you want to put your hand out as well, imagine that you have your eye there saying, you know what, I see your energy and I don't need it. And this is what this symbol is all about as well. So we've got Denise there from, Bob, I can't know if I can pronounce that. Bob Kenyon. That was a terrible pronouncement, wasn't it? Ontario, Canada. But I don't think I can pronounce the precise place. I'm going to have to work on that one. So anyway, we're going to go to the next one. So the next symbol, which everybody must have at least heard about it, even if you've never seen the symbol, which is the Tree of Life. Tree of Life, again, how does this feel to you? The Tree of Life, you know, it's a no-brainer in terms of what it means at a human aspect level, in terms of life itself, but it does encompass all the 4 elements. So that's water, air, fire, earth as well. It is represented in so many different cultures across the world. Christianity will associate the Tree of Life with Adam and Eve, and it is something, again, if you haven't seen it, you would have heard about it. Or you've been to Disney World and you heard about it. Tree of Life is the same thing. It is treat it like almost like Mother Nature, mother to all, and mother to all the elements. This is a really good symbol if you are looking to ground yourself and also to connect to your root chakra. So again, something very good to visualize. And again, perhaps you're needing that sort of grounding right now. You're suffering from some anxiety or stresses at this moment in time. Just spend a moment just looking at this image, and you'll find how the frequency of this image would calm you down as well. So just before we just crack on, let's see who else is there. We've got Janine also on YouTube, and Drew, and Ageless Belgium in Belgium. Nice to see you here. And Glitter Sunflower, what a great name. So just to crack on, again, if you have any questions, guys, do say. So I've got a feel there from also Nottinghamshire in the UK as well. So this one, I'm touching on this a little bit, but this probably at some point will be a whole entire live because I can't cover this in just a little minute. But the flower of life, so different from the tree of life, is part of sacred geometry. Now, sacred geometry, and those of you who talk to me, when I talk about frequency, I talk about frequency and energy in terms of atoms. I talk about it in a very scientific way, and how science and spirituality connect. Well, the flower of life, pretty much every culture around the world, whether they realise it or not, and some of them do, particularly religions, do understand that the flower of life and sacred geometry is basically the foundations of pretty much nearly every religious source. And using the word source as well, this is what the flower of life represents. It starts off as 7 overlapping circles that keep forever going. And again, it is so complicated. I will definitely be doing another live on this very subject, but it's about creation. If you think about when I did my live feed on which I called We Are Borg, it is imagining source or energy, or imagine yourself basically being a single entity and expanding or doubling or multiplying. So sacred geometry is based, again, in science, is based in logic, and is based as a blueprint, almost see it as DNA for life, but in a very spiritual sense. So I hope that's a little bit of a taster, but again, very powerful symbol, probably out of all of them, the most powerful, and I will cover it in another live feed. But again, what does this mean to you, the sacred flower of life? And again, if you've never heard about it, then you'll have to watch when I do the live on it the next time I get to it as well. So we have another symbol which everybody must have seen, because there was one point in history when it was a bit of a mad craze, which is the yin and the yang. And it represents many things. Some people see it as a yin and yang in terms of the feminine and masculine energy. Some people see it, and well, not see it, but it is for me dark and lightness, but not dark in terms of, you know, the dark in people or evil or anything like that. It just means sometimes in life, if we don't have the contrast between the light, how again do you expand, how do you grow, how do you keep the balance, which is what yin and yang is about. It's about balance overall, because again, without the feminine and the masculine energy in our human aspect, we wouldn't connect in the way that we do. We wouldn't have the balance and harmony. We wouldn't expand. But also, if you take away that and you just look at the darkness or when things go bad in our lives, it is the contrast, or sometimes the very thing that we need to springboard us into a very positive direction, because we're growing and learning from that. And that, hence why it's a circle as well, because it represents a circle of life in terms of that growth. So I hope you get me. Again, if I'm not, do say, because I can see all your comments. Please do say. So again, how does this feel to you? Because I think over time, particularly as this one in particular got quite positive representation, it also got some negative sort of feelings with this. Again, it's just a symbol, and if you know, when anything is overused or over-egged in any way, it can sometimes, again, that yin and yang, it can have the darkness with the light. But again, these symbols sort of should boost and should very much with this is about, if you're trying to align any one of your chakras, this is a very good image to visualize as well. So the next one that we have, trying to go through them quickly because we've got a lot to get through. The lotus flower, this one's my favorite. It's my favorite one. In fact, what's your favorite one so far? I've got 7 of these ones. So number 5, lotus flower. Lotus flower, it's traditionally Buddhism, this symbol comes from. And I like this story with this one, because the lotus flower, it grows in the darkness and it grows in the mud. So this beautiful lotus flower grows from darkness. So again, just like the yin and yang, this symbol is about enlightenment. It's about awakening. It's rising through the darkness and becoming awakened so that you're in the light. And I often say to people, it's imagine yourself like in your human aspect, that you've been spending a lot of time just basically in a dark room with a torch in your hand, only looking and seeing what the torch shows you. But the lotus flower represents that you found the light switch, basically. So instead of using the torch just to see, you know, what that perspective shows you, that you flick the light on and you become very awakened. But you've become awakened because of your experiences. So quite often when you're going through a challenging time, please know that all it's doing is bringing you into the light. It's bringing you into being more awakened. And then once you found the light switch, you can keep that switch on for as long as you want, and life is not a challenge anymore. And this is why this symbol is beautiful in that regards. And also what I like about it, you know, the actual lotus flower, water runs off it. So not only do you become awakened, but negativity or, you know, getting bogged down with things just runs off you. It doesn't affect you in the same way because you understand that you are creator, that you're master of your own perspective even. And that's why I love this as well. So again, if you're ever feeling or if you're wanting to awaken to your spirituality, this is a very good symbol to meditate on as well. So we have number 6, the Anuak, which is Egyptian. And it basically again is a meaning for, I lost my train of thought, eternal life. It's also a symbol for regeneration, reincarnation. It's particularly regeneration. So if you think about this symbol, if you're looking to regenerate anything in your life, start anew of anything in your life, this is again a very good symbol to focus on. These symbols that I'm going through are the most popular ones. Again, these sort of things come in earrings, come with jewelries, come as all art. They're helpful for setting a frequency. So we're going to go to the last one, and then I'm going to take and see if anybody else is there in Facebook land. Any questions? But we've got the Pentacle. Now, the Pentacle is quite a popular one, and I would say here that it sometimes a bit debatable, but for me it's a Wiccan symbol. And it's a 5-pointed star. It's also encompassed by this circle, which is around protection, but the 5 points of the star represents, at the top represents the spirit, represents you, and then the other elements represent elements. They represent fire, earth, water, so on and so forth. And again, this symbol, this is where sometimes people get confused when it comes to the Pentacle. It is not a negative symbol. It is actually a protection symbol. It's to protect you from negativity, or other people would say evil, but will protect you from negative energy, basically. So again, this is quite a beautiful symbol if you're looking to psychically protect yourself from anything. This is a great symbol to visualize on, or again, wear as well. And it, I forgot my other point about it. Don't you hate that when it happens, especially when you're live? But basically, to cut a long story short, this is not an evil symbol, as some people would say, and we'll have to agree to disagree if you think it's otherwise. This is a very old Wiccan symbol that represents protection in the greatest as well. So I always thought that Anuak was a Christian symbol. Well, I could go into a very long history, Dawn, about how lots of Egyptian everything, symbols, gods, how actually, if you look at all religions, if you're going back into history, how they're all intertwined, but also how parts are picked off and placed into other religions. So yes, the Anuak would be a Christian symbol, but it was formerly an Egyptian symbol, hence and Anuak is an Egyptian word as well. So, but I won't bore you with the lecture of how all the religions intertwined, unless there's a demand for me to do that on a live feed. But it's quite deep stuff, I might bore you all. So those were the most common symbols. There are some other symbols, but again, these are the most common symbols that are associated with religion or spirituality, and how they may be relevant to you in terms of setting a frequency around love, around growth, around enlightenment, and around protection as well, if that makes sense. So we're going to get on to the stuff now in terms of how do I know that a loved one who's passed is trying to send me a sign. How do I know that I am connecting to my spirit guides like I do? Because that's how I work with my spirit guides. How do I know that I am awakening and starting to connect to my higher self? Well, these are the signs. Or even if none of that happens, you might just be having one of those experiences where you even mentally just said to yourself one day that you wanted to know the answer to something, perhaps never really believed in this kind of stuff, and then odd stuff happened and you're like, whoa, that was really interesting, that was really cool. I wonder if it has a meaning or where that comes from. Well, this will hopefully explain it to you as well. So just before I do that, let's see what else. So we've got Stargazer. Yes, a lotus. It's beautiful, isn't it? It is beautiful. And sorry, let's have a see here. I can't see what you've written, so let me move that along. What about asking QS here? You can ask questions here, Shambhala. You can ask questions here in relation to the subject. There's no problem at all. So, right, let's move on. So we're going to talk about the signs and symbols. So what are the signs that can mean that you're receiving signs from spirit or the universe or from source? So the first common one is light bulbs or light bulbs blowing. So this one for me, very common, more so for those who have passed on or passed over. So I don't mean them just blowing. It can be that they just blow unexpectedly, but if you're finding that it's happening a lot, particularly if you are thinking about a loved one or recently where someone's passed over, this is usually a very good sign that they're trying to connect with you. And this will even if you call that an electrician and it's been happening so often, and the electrician gets there and it's completely, nothing is wrong. This is a surefire way to let you know that actually those who have passed on are trying to get in contact with you. And the fact that you're watching this, like I said at the beginning, because you'll understand now some of the top symbols, if you're thinking and you're wanting to have a sign from somebody who is now back in source, or whatever you believe, and you want to have a sign, one of these signs that I'm going to talk about will probably happen for you, but this is a very common one as well. If this has happened to you, do say as well, because I always love to hear stories, and some stories I will share with you too. So number 2 is music playing. This is common, so in 2 ways. So music playing anyway, that you're out, supermarket, shop, and we hear music all the time. Music is often played in the background, but if you get a piece of music that is almost like you stand still or you're really noticing it for the first time, do listen to the words, because there's probably a message there for you. Or if you're not hearing actual music, you may get a song in your head that you either just sing in your head or you actually start singing out loud. Stop and pause and start to take note, because quite often, and I have this all the time for my guys, in fact my guys are quite funny, sometimes some of the songs that they sing, they will sing to me for certain things as well. And if it's basically the one when it's inside of you and it's coming from you, that's normally your higher self, your spirit guides trying to communicate with you. So if you have that to point you're noticing it, or now that I said this, notice it, what are the lyrics to that song, because they're probably a message for you. Or if you're out and you notice a song and you're paying it, the one that's made you pay attention for whatever reason, again, do the same. I'll share a story with you very briefly, and I hope she doesn't mind, but it was such a great story, I thought I can't share it with you. But I had a client this week who, we've just gone into Venus retrograde, and she was in the supermarket, and she, you know, normally ignores music, and then she heard some music in a store, and she focused on it, and it made her think about her ex, and she wondered, as she heard the song, you know, I wonder if he hears this and, you know, he thinks about me. Anyway, I kid you not, and this is why I'm sharing it, I hope she doesn't mind. She turned the next dial in that supermarket, and guess who was there? And they don't even live in the same town. Yes, her ex. So I share that with you in relation to this, because that is also another way of your guides almost pre-warning you a little bit that something might be happening as well. So music, big one. So next one, room temperature. Or I like to say, you know, when you get that chill that goes over the back of your shoulder, if you hear a chill that goes over the back of your shoulder, or you feel, I should say, a chill that goes over, you know, people often say, oh, someone's crossed my grave or something like that. Again, this most likely will be somebody who's passed over trying to connect with you. If you have that, say to yourself, who is that? The first thought that you have in your head is usually the correct answer. Okay. Also, as well, room temperatures. For some people, particularly if you're empathic by nature, could be that you're picking up the different or the negative energy of a room as well, which will let you know maybe how to gauge the temperature literally in terms of how you may want to interact with the people or the energy of that room as well. But quite often room temperature are mainly associated with people have passed over. Sometimes it will be your spirit guides trying to get your attention quite quickly to something to alert you in a certain situation too. But quite often, if you're not in circumstances where you need that kind of and you feel that, just say to yourself, who is that? And whoever you think about first is normally the correct answer. Or if it's not that, if it is your guides trying to tell you something, whatever message comes to you straight away will also be the correct answer too, as well, if that makes sense. Right, hold on, I'm doing a pause there just for a minute, because what's on the screen, it's 11:11. So you all need to, right now, before I start talking about it, make a wish, make a manifestation, okay, because this is the number about pausing and letting you know that what is you desire will come true, but you've got to make that wish right now. So you've got a couple of seconds. Have you made it? Good. Right, so just to continue, this is probably the most common symbol that I get most people telling me all the time, or I see all the time. It definitely tells you that you are connected to the divine. It definitely tells you that you are awakening. It definitely tells you that what you dream and what you desire will come true. So whenever you see 11:11, take a moment, normally have about a minute, think about what it is that you wish and you desire, and it will come to you. Your guides will make it happen. Source will make it happen from your perspective. You will be setting your intention, and as you know, what I believe, that when you set your intention, because you are creator, it will manifest and happen for you. So do take that moment to think about this. This is the most common symbol, and the more awakened you get, not only will you see 11:11, but you'll see a multiple of multiple numbers. And if you want to know more about numbers, I do have another video that I did a few months ago on numbers, and I also have a free download sheet on my website so that you can figure them out, figure out the normal ones as well. So I do hope you made your wish. Then we've got number plates. This one I also get quite a lot from people. So again, I often get people that will say to me, I just want a sign, any sign that I know what I'm feeling is true, or what you're telling me is true, you know, other than what I've told them happening, you know, something before that. Or they want to just know that they're starting to connect to their spirit guides as well. So number plates quite come up. So in terms of, you'll either see the word angel that will let you know, or spirit, or particularly if you're asking about a person, you'll see their initials. So that's what I get quite a lot. So some people say, I don't really know what sign to answer for. And then they'll be in a car and then they'll see on the number plate somebody's initials or even the name, but more than once as well. So it's not just a fluke, a random fluke, and they're not been searching for it. Or again, if they're becoming awakened, they'll see an angel or spirit. And again, watch how your week goes this week about which one of these symbols you're going to get, because I just know that nearly every single one of you who see this will get something out of one of these 10 that I'm going to go through as well. So just before we continue, Dawn says, yes, this happens to me a lot. I need to pay closer attention to any potential messages. I usually just assume that it's a visit as well. And what about 1313? Well, normally 1111, but if you go to my free download, I cover all the numbers, but also how you can then sequence them so that they have a meaning, because they should really come under 11 or under 21 as well. And my website is betterthesecretpsychic.com, and just go to the free download section, which is there. So the next one is butterflies. Butterflies. Ah, love butterflies. Butterflies for a number of things. Now, butterflies, no matter what variety they are often nearly 100% one of your loved ones visiting you or letting you know that they're around you. That's the primary first thing that butterflies mean. Now, if you see white butterflies in particular, they also will mean that too, but they will also mean, very similar to 111, that your manifesting desires are about to happen for you and very soon. It is also a good omen, good to wish and use the energy of the butterfly's frequency to help you in your manifesting intentions as well. But quite often the butterfly has been brought to you by somebody in spirit as a gift for you to manifest on as well. And the more you're seeing them, the more they are around you. So again, I've got another client who, I'm sure she won't mind, who visited her mother's grave recently this week, and the day before, loads of butterflies. On the day, tongues of butterflies. Day after, tongues of butterflies, and they're all white as well. And it was an amazing experience. And I've got another video clip here of me sitting down when I was in America, and I had a little visit by a little butterfly, and I was like, whoa! So I took a picture, and now I'm sharing it with you. So butterflies are awesome, almost as cool as unicorns, because unicorns are awesome. So next one is feathers. Feathers, feathers, feathers. Feathers again, often they symbolize lots of different things, but they often again are from loved ones. But again, often when people are saying, I just want to know the answer to something, and they're asking the spirit guides, or they're asking God, whoever it is that you pray to or affirm to or think to, and they say, I need a sign, feathers will probably be one of the number one things that will turn up, and usually a white feather as well for you. White feathers are definitely connected to spirits and loved ones, but any kind of feather is normally an answer to say yes. What it is that you desire, yes, is going to be there. And again, the more you have or the more you see is a bigger yes to your question, even if you didn't know you had a question. And again, I had a client actually who, it's a sort of a feather related story because it relates to a bird, but she said, Bella, I just need to know a sign. It was about a relationship, and she wanted to know a sign that what we'd been talking about, and at the time I predicted that he would return, or had the opportunity to return, and it'd been a very drawn out process. And she said, I just want to know a sign that that it's true. Can I ask my spirit guide? I said, just ask them. And she said, what can I ask them for? I said, you can go through these usual signs that I'm talking about, but if you just don't know, then just ask for a sign that you will be relevant for you. Anyway, the next day, an owl popped on her windowsill. An owl. You know how hard it is to see an owl in the first place, let alone one on your windowsill. Now, what was relevant, not only was it a full bird full of feathers, but the person that we were talking about actually played for a football team that was called the Owls. So she got her sign, basically. Which was amazing, and very grateful she shared these lovely stories with me. So Jekyll says, I had an amazing bedside light experience 2 nights before the 1st and 2nd anniversary of my husband's death. The second year, wow, it flashed a couple of times and slowly dimmed in darkness. What a beautiful thing to share. And again, very clearly, and I'm getting the chills. I just said about the chills as someone crossing your grave, that just happened to me, and I just did what I just told you guys to do. I'm not a medium, as you guys know. I occasionally get stuff, but your husband just came through as we were talking about this. So please be aware that you may have another light bulb experience today. All right, just to know that he just came through as I read that. Sorry, I just freaked my own self out then. See what happens when you start talking about this stuff. Weird stuff happens as well. Vera says, in the summer after my beloved father died, 100 of white butterflies flew over my sitting room. Perfect. So you all know what I mean. And I've lived in this flat, she says, for 27 years, but I never experienced this before. Again, makes my heart feel with so much everything. I just can't actually speak right now, but I'm glad you recognise it, and I'm glad that people are sharing to affirm what it is that I'm saying happens for them. And again, because you're watching this today, whether you want to know information about anything in your life, whether you want to connect to the spirit one, because you're watching this, it will happen for you as well. So exciting. I'm so excited. So excited I've lost my train of thought. Okay, Amanda says, I just decorated my lounge in wallpaper with feathers on, and best sat outside my hose, I can't read that, on my bench, and the feathers at my feet again. Well, I think just having feathers of any kind, I think if I could get away with having a dress made out of feathers, I will. I love feathers. I have some in jewellery too. I've never had any of these things happen, Amy says. Well, you will now. You watch it. You watch. I'll have people commenting going, oh my god, after I watch your live, this happened. It's because you're becoming much more aware and awakened, and when that happens, you become like a beacon to spirit that goes, yep, she's live or he's live. Let's just tap into them and let them know that we are here and we are real. And to answer your question, so again, as you know, because I work with my spirit guides, all you need to do is ask them to help you, or ask them for a sign from your spirit guides, and they will give it to you 100%. Otherwise you'll have a video of me eating my cards, because that's how strongly I believe it. Shadows seen out of the corner of your eyes. Now this, for those of you who have joined my tarot, my Inspire Tarot and Psychic Ability challenge, my Facebook group, and if you don't know anything about my challenge, do look at my Facebook page. I have a community there that I'm growing ahead of my 5-day challenge that starts on the 20th of March, which is for 5 days, to understand more about tarot cards and psychic ability, which is ahead of my launch of my full course. The group there, even today, I've just been talking about this very subject, so I know some of you will be watching this today. Now, seeing shadows out, or the corner of your eyes, mean a number of things. Now for me, because I work with my spirit guides, they are a clear representation of your spirit guides being around you. So it's hard for me to explain my spirit guides, because they come to me in many different ways, but one of the ways they come to me is they're just here and they're from the corner of my eyes, they're a shadow. So that's another thing. But again, seeing shadows will also be loved ones as well, trained to get your attention. It never feels scary, so don't sit there and think, oh my god, I'd hate for that to happen. If you'd hate for that to happen, it won't happen, trust me. But if you want that to happen, and for those of you who want to connect to your spirit guides, again, on my free download part of my website, there is an audio, and I also did a video as well on how to meet your spirit guides. But that sort of very mini introduction, and I do have some longer hypnosis, will also help you to actually connect to them so that you can see them more. But that's just one of the ways, because they can come through. But also, if you are seeing shadows in this kind of way, you are very, 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 very clear audient as well, because it means you get things and you receive things in a very visual way, and that's how that will come through. So I hope you get me. So that, and hopefully that answers some of the questions that I had in the group as well. It's a positive thing. Never feel afraid, and if you ever feel afraid, just say I'm not ready, and you won't see it anymore. That's what I want to say to everybody, because spirit or source is not here to frighten you. Okay. Stacy says, my cloud eagle. And Jekyll says, wonderful, Bella. I know he's often around me. I know you do, because you've got the gift as well, my dear, inside you. So he will come to you more often. And like I said, expect something in the next 24 hours as well, because of today. So the next one is phone ringing once. Now this one, and what do I mean? Because now we live in a day now that if your phone rings once, you see who it is. It's very rare you get an unknown call, and if it's unknown call, it's probably some PPI person or someone trying to sell you something. Now what I mean is, particularly for those again who have lost people, quite often people will keep hold of their mobile phones, and so many people have told me that afterwards their phone it rang once. The person who passed over, the phone rang once. That is them. I had an old work colleague once where just after her mother had died, she had her phone. No, actually she didn't have a phone. She had her own phone. And she said, Bella, one day, a few days ago, my phone text, and I looked at my phone, you know when it flashes on your screen before you've pressed it, and it just said text from mum. And obviously her mum had passed away, so she suddenly gasped and really sort of, panicked. She, when you press it then to open it up, and when she opened it up, the message had vanished. There was no text message. And the horrible thing was, she's like, I'm the only one who saw it. I don't have the proof, to show that it did actually happen. It just flashed on the screen, and then when she went to actually see it and read it, it wasn't there. Classic signs of your loved ones trying to get through to you. Or you can have situations where your phone, whether it's a mobile or a house phone or a phone in a premises, will ring to actually connect you to somebody who's real. So I'm going to have to give you an example. So years ago, me and my friend was in a bar, and we were waiting on another friend. We both had our mobile phones, and we're both waiting, and they were very, very late. Anyway, the bar that we was in had one of those pay phones just to the side to us, and it just started to ring, and it started ringing and ringing and ringing, and everyone's ignoring it because it's a pay phone in a bar, and even though it was a public one, nobody wanted to pick it up, but it was ringing and ringing and ringing. So my friend said, I'm just going to answer it. So pick the phone up, and then started talking, and he started chatting away. And I said, who's on the phone? And it was a friend that we were waiting for. And I said, well, how did they know? Why did they not call our mobile? Why did they ring the bar's public telephone, and how did they get the number? And my friend said, no, he didn't ring the bar's number. He tried to ring my mobile phone, but it didn't go through to the mobile phone. It went through to the bar's phone. And we were both freaked out. And I do this for a living, so I still get freaked out by things. But it was really bizarre. And then actually what had happened is my friend's phone had actually died of battery. So that person wanted to connect, obviously so badly, that somehow the universe said, okay, you're going to connect, but it's going to go this way. And we happened to be the ones closest to the phone. What are the odds, eh? It's just another way of bringing your attention to how the universe can be, and how enlightening it can be, and actually when you set your intentions to anything, that actually anything can happen as well. So I hope you like that story. So we have the last one that I'm going to cover before I do reveal the cards, which is orbs. So orbs, particularly now that we live in a generation where our phones can take pictures very, very quickly, when people see orbs, they often are spirit guides or your loved ones that you're just getting a glimpse of. I quite often, because my service that I do is often it's primarily mostly by video, And I don't see things because I'm in my own world sometimes because I'm concentrating on the person's question. But then sometimes the person will come back and go, Bella, go back and look at, 2.36 seconds into the video. Can you see that orb behind your head? And so I go there and I go, oh yeah. And I'm so used to it now that I just, it doesn't surprise me. So quite often people get videos of me with light or orbs in the video. And I think the only one that was probably freaked somebody out the biggest was when I was doing one and my light bulbs were like this, on off, on off, on off. And I didn't notice. And it's only after the video and I watched it back and I was like, oh gosh, yes. And it never happened in any of his videos, so that was clearly a message just for her. So orbs, seeing them in videos, seeing them in your pictures, or you might actually see them. So please know that that again is likely to be one of your loved ones or your spirit guides trying to say hello. Just say hello back. And again, normally your first thought, if you're wondering who and what it is, will be the correct answer for you as well. So I do hope that's been informative in terms of the signs and symbols. And like I said, now that you're much more aware of what some of these are in terms of you becoming awakened, you getting the answers to things, you connecting to somebody who's passed over and you just want to touch base with them to know that they're okay, one of these signs is, will happen for you as well. That I have no doubt because I see it all the time. So just checking. My mother, who has passed, likes pictures on my son's Facebook page. Now that, because actually you're right, Mia, we do live in a generation now where it's not just about mobile phones, it is about Facebook pages, Snapchats, Instagram. So it will come in those ways. And no one, as you say, no one had access to her account and had ever heard of this. I think that's amazing. Firstly, amazing of your mother for that to have happened. But is this a reflection of the generation that we now live in, where we don't tend to have house phones anymore, do we? So they can do it a different way through liking Facebook pages. And 100% would I agree that was your mother trying to say hi and also say I like what's happening too. Amazing. I love these stories because they're so enlifting and enlightening for people to hear about as well. So I'm going to just go to these. So which card did you choose? Did you choose number 1, number 2, number 3? You can look at them now. So the first one, if you chose number 1, is this lovely one. Let's see if we can get it there. It says express your love. Express your love. It says go ahead and make a romantic gesture. I would say, just to add on to that, because my guides are saying here, for some of you watching this, that it's about you needing to be brave. That so often, sometimes we rely on the other person to make the gesture. And sometimes we need to have some self-awareness that actually we need to make the gesture, or to not be afraid, or not to have the expectation that somebody else needs to do it. Particularly if you're female as well, sometimes we can put on men to make the first gesture. But what this card for me is saying here is don't be afraid to express your love, because it's not going to be knocked back, basically. That sometimes we do need to make those gestures in order to be connected, and particularly while we're in this Venus retrograde as well. Some people may not be feeling like they're very connected to people, and it's saying it's okay to express your love. But also, sometimes it doesn't have to be with that person. Sometimes expressing your love can be in a very creative way, personal for you. Do that. Do make a romantic gesture to yourself. Self-love and all that. You know how I go on about that. But do think about it in that kind of way as well. So that was number 1, express your love. Number 2, oh, we got chemistry. There is a strong magnetic attraction here. So whoever it is that you're thinking about, for those of you who chose number 2, there is a strong magnetic connection to that person. So for me, my guides are saying, particularly when it comes to the soulmate aspect, particularly also if you're newly with somebody, that there is chemistry there that is strong and is beyond basically, you know, a fun time person or Mr. or Mrs. Right for right now, that there is more to it. So whatever your question was in relation to whoever, new, old, existing, it says there is chemistry, but there's a strong connection, something that pulls you together. My guides also just said here that there is a strong magnetic connection to some people, and that there is that attraction, but just be mindful and look at it in a way that, is it a healthy attraction? Because just because there is chemistry and it's magnetic, is it lifting your vibration in a positive way, or is it not feeling so good? It's asking you to also look at it like that, that even though there is this chemistry and a connection and there's that magnetic pull, is it right for you? And again, something to think about also whilst we're in the Venus retrograde as well, because it's also, this retrograde is all about stopping things that are bad also happening, or stagnating, so that we bring us balance, harmony and well-being to us. And then we have number 3, which is keep an open mind. It says your soulmate may differ from your usual type and expectations. And I think the verbatim of that card will definitely apply, but I think overall, because it says keep an open mind, it's asking you to think about the connection that you have in your mind, to keep it open and that the door is not closed. That by almost putting yourself in the other person's shoe to get their perspective instead of just from your perspective, because quite often as people we will judge other people by our own standards, and sometimes we just need to be a little bit broader to understand where the other person's coming from. So this card for me will also be asking you guys to do that too, but also just to keep an open mind, particularly if you're feeling like things are in the negative, but actually be open to it actually being more than what it is, that it could be unexpected too. But also, like I said, the card could be very much in the verbatim that somebody that is right for you may be very different from who you usually go with, and that's not a bad thing, particularly if they treat you better. So that can't be bad now, can it? So those were the 3 cards, and hopefully everyone's seen this on the repeat, and if not, I'll put it as a photograph on my Facebook page so that everybody knows what their cards were also as well. So again, if you're watching on YouTube and you'd like to join my Facebook community, then the links are just down below. But also, if you're interested in joining on the challenge, for the Tarot and Psychic Ability Challenge, and you want to join the private Facebook group, so it's a private Facebook group. And I have to say, for everybody who's joined it already, I am so super impressed with everybody. And the challenge hasn't even started. I've set many challenges, but the challenge hasn't started. It's such a warm, friendly group. It's a very safe space to come and learn, to unlock your psychic abilities and your tarot abilities in an environment where everybody's very supportive, all at different levels and from all across the world as well. So do, I'll put the link above in or below also here for those of you who may also want to join that challenge, which starts on the 20th of March as well, too, because I literally, like, I could gush about the group already and they know who they are. So do come along, come and join all the fun stuff that's happening there as well. So I've now talked myself to death. I'm sure I've talked your ears off. It's been amazing as always to come and do these lives and talk with you, and I do hope that you got something out of this and that it was informative as well. I'm going to sign off, but just before I go, to see if anybody there, I hope you're all well. I hope you're all well. So I'm going to go because it's nearly 10 o'clock, nearly an hour. Gosh. My dears, have a lovely Monday tomorrow. For some of you, it's already Monday. and enjoy your week. Thank you also very much for joining me again as usual. And if you do like this, do like, do share, do subscribe, because you never know who else it might help as well. And I do appreciate all your beautiful comments and you participating also in my lives. It means a lot to me, and thank you very, very much. So everybody take care and have an amazing rest of the week. Till next week, bye.